welcome to Chellington 17, episode 8, with me, MrSealyp. So, believe it or not, we are on Chellington 17, version 2. But this is the new save game. So, I've started again, and I had to get rid of my old save game to make sure everything worked. Now, before we go any further, would help if I press the right button. So the bit that says forest, those big letters there that I missed in the other episode, the forest. Oh dear. If I just click over here, I have moved the combine harvester over to 11, ready to harvest on 11. So the good thing is I can actually jump across there, which makes life easier. Jump out and then run across the road. So, when I had this on the last version, before I did the save game, it was all grass here. It hadn't really given you a proper entrance. It looked all a bit weird. And when I went across there, it was just like an open meadow. It was very peculiar. So, new save game, we have a forest. There are trees. Trees that can be cut down and harvested and taken to the sawmill. I've also noticed a few of these trees dotted around the map generally now as well, so I don't know whether they were kind of added on, but anyway, we have a forest. Excellent, happy about that. And then down here at the Bedfordshire sawmill, which isn't too far away from here, Bedfordshire actually, from where I am, just up the road. Click on this and visit. So, no longer is it a ploughed field with stuff plonked on top. Because it had to be a new save game, it then re-registered how everything was supposed to be done. So, we no longer have a ploughed field here. We have a proper off-the-road kind of tarmac access point, and it is all on proper ground. Now, something I missed yesterday was, although you've got the sell point here, you've got the mill pond over there. What I failed to notice, which I have subsequently found around the back, we have the wood chip sell point. So you can sell your wood chips here as well. So that's the Bedfordshire sawmill, or beds, probably just call it beds. The beds sawmill. So that's all good. Back onto here, the mission system seems to be kind of a bit more intact, but there are only certain fields you can do it on, and if you look, they've kind of put very solid rectangles on the fields that you can do it on, which this wasn't really showing up properly the other day. I think the only field you've got contracting or mission system on is field 3, and then I think down here we've got field, what is that, 17? Yeah, 17 and 16, and up there. So there are contracts available. The one bonus to the fact I've had to do a new save game is that the mission system seems to have reset itself. So although I'd run out of missions the other day, I haven't now. They're all kind of refreshed, so there are missions that I can do to make some money. Now, on the downside, unlike on PC versions where you can probably go in on the XML file, have a bit of a tweak around and fiddle around with a few bits and bobs and get everything back to how it was, as you can see in the top right hand corner, I have 158,000, which is what I finished on the last save game. I don't know if it was 158,097. I didn't get it that accurate, but I tried to get it as accurate as I could. Since I turned it off and posted the last video, I have spent hours and hours and hours of solid gameplay to get the farm back to the state it was at the last episode. That is no word of a lie. If I go to the tractor has been done up again, exactly how I did it before. I have rebought these. That trailer though was over at the store. I forgot to move that. Never mind, that's not a big issue. Yeah, they're stored where they were. I released the bale wrapper and the where are we? And the bale collector. I had bought this, so I've got this. I've got this again. The Vaderstad Rapid 600S, is it? What else have I done? I have refilled the... rebought the barn that was down by the cows. I've refilled the straw, refilled the grass. I've redone the bales, the straw bales ready for bedding. I've redone 2 stacks of grass bales, one by the sheep and one by the cows, ready to give them exactly how it was before. And if I was over here to field 6, this was the biggest headache of all, without doubt. I have redone the field. Took a bit of time, and I have reseeded. So if we go to the map, if we look up here and go to soil composition, that's because it's set different, is it? Fruit types. So I have got my soybean back in, and I have got my canola or oilseed rape back in. To say that it took me a long time is the understatement of the century. Oh, you know what I forgot? Ah, the one thing. Typical. Didn't get the jet wash. And if I buy that now, that's going to leave me short of where I was. Oh, that's so annoying. I could do a contracting job to make up for it. Not the end of the world. Right, let's get back on. I need to exactly how it was. Otherwise, it's just not right. How annoying is that? Typical. There we go, we've got a jet wash pack. Okay, so I'm a little bit down on what it was. It's not the end of the world, but I left the last episode having just rented the Vaderstad Tempo F8, so I could do sugar beet and I could do sunflowers over in 2 parts of field 6. Well, that's what I'm going to start off with now. On, drop it down, and I am now sunflowering. So it's been an interesting few hours, whizzing around, trying to get everything done, remembering exactly how it was, where things were. I think when I put a couple of these strips in, they're not quite in the same alignment they were last time, but you know what? I really don't care. The attention to detail had to be right. I could have just said, you know what, I'll do another save game and start again, but it just seemed a bit... If you've kind of taken the time to watch the episode so far, up to... where did I get to? Episode 7. It just seemed like it would have been a waste, you know, almost like starting a new Let's Play, and I didn't want it to be starting a new Let's Play. I wanted to carry on from where I got to. So, yeah, bit of a labour of love, but it's done. That's the main thing. Like I say, I'm going to do a bit more contracting. I did say at the end of, or during episode 7 and episode 6, that I do want to get another tractor. That is still true. I do want to get another tractor for a bit of yard work, but I can't set a worker to do any jobs because I haven't got another vehicle to use. So even if I think, oh, I'll set a worker on this field, well, I'll go off and sit by the field and watch them working. I'm going to need at least one more tractor, if not a few, on this farm. So yes, I need to do a bit of work to raise the money to do that. I do need to harvest field. Oh, I forgot what it was now. Can't see on that one. Just stop a second. Field 11, where the harvester is. That's what I'm going to do. I'll say next, not necessarily in this episode or in the next episode, but that is going to be the next field that will get harvested. And I do want to start looking at getting livestock as well, so that's why I want to get some sugar beet in the ground because the pigs are going to need it. So to make sure they are as productive as they can be, that's what I'm going to do. Right, I'm going to carry on with this field and get the sunflowers in, and then I will move across to the next part and get some sugar beet in, which I'll probably jump to in a minute. Little bit of light contracting work in the Massey Ferguson Black Edition 8727, and the I get this wrong every time, Venus slurry injector spreader. Just while my I've set a worker on field 6, just putting the last of the sunflowers in. I did a big chunk of it, and then I thought, actually, you know what, I could be doing something else as well. Since I don't own a tractor of my own, I can do some contracting work and use somebody else's, rather than, not them sitting around obviously, but you know, time is money and all that. So, yes, carry on with this. There's a good view. Oh, it was a good view. Brilliant. This is a big field. Just going across the past the Beds Sawmill. Castle over in the distance there. Almost done. Might have to pop into the village for a swift half in the pub. I think that's the spinnery, that tower, that chimney over there in the distance. I think that's the spinnery. But I think the pub's called the Plough Inn on this, I think. I have to, yeah, have to have a look. Okay. 27. Nearly 28,000. Excellent. Where's the next job, just out of curiosity? No jobs available. Ah. Right, I need to go back to the field and check on my worker. It would appear has stopped. Almost out of seed as well. So I have to go back and refill the seeder, but I'm just going to do these little... I don't know why it's left these little bits here. It's a bit peculiar. Just clean these up. A bit of tidying. That's this side part of field 16 now. Has got sunflowers in. And then the bottom part I'm going to put sugar beet in. For the pigs. But I'm going to need to fill this up first before I even consider doing that. Okay, raise that up. Fold it. And quickly pop back to fill it. This is already growing and I've got the growth set on normal. That's how quickly this seems to be flying through the stages of growth. I might have to put it on slow because it seems very unrealistic. It's strange, when I started off in Goldcrest Valley, you know, what's that, way back when, back in the day, about 2 months ago, it took 3 days in real time, 3 full days, for the crops to grow. This has been an hour, if that, and it's already starting to grow, so I might have to change that and put it on to slow. That said, I'll whiz back and get some more seed. I'll be honest, look in the bottom right hand corner at the stats, whatever you want to call it. I'm still baffled as to why the fertilizer is nearly 3 times what the seed is. It uses way more seed than fertilizer. It should be flipped around the other way. It should be 1,463 seed, 560 fertilizer. That would make more sense. Then it would all run out roughly the same sort of time to refill. I'm a bit baffled as to why, because you really do need more seed to keep it going longer. Just an observation. So, before I begin, what do I need to do? Oh yeah, actually should put it onto, where are we? Sugar beets. I didn't do sugar beet on Goldcrest Valley. I harvested potatoes, but I didn't even put them in the ground myself. That was a field I bought that had potatoes in. So this is the first root crop I'm actually putting in on FS17 entirely. What have I forgotten to do? Do I not even turn it on? Pretend that didn't happen. Ignore that minor cock up. Turn on sower. That would definitely help, wouldn't it? Still seeds at quite a rate actually, 12 miles an hour. It's not a very big patch here, but then the pigs only use, I think 5% of their feed is made up of root vegetables, either potatoes or sugar beet. So you don't actually need a huge amount of it as a ratio compared to everything else. I think the most they have is corn. I think 50% of their ration is corn, so I'm going to need corn as well in a field, but I want to do a big field of that because you can always do silaging. If the silage bunker problem is resolved on this, I don't know. I haven't been back on Goldcrest Valley. I need to go back and check and see if the silage problem has been sorted. I'm not holding my breath. I'm not convinced it will have been, but you never know. So how are we getting on? Okay, by the looks of things. It's an odd shaped little bit of the field here, but like I say, I don't need a huge amount. And the actual yield of sugar beet and potatoes is incredibly high, but you don't get paid very much for them. But if you're just going to use them as feed, that's brilliant because you're getting a high yield. I don't want to drive. You're getting a high yield, but you don't need to sell them, so it actually works out quite beneficial using it as a feed. So, what's to do now? Still got seed in this, and considering it's leased, I don't want to give it back straight away, and I certainly don't want to give it back with seed in it. So I'm thinking maybe come up the top. It seems daft putting corn in it. It's just, you're not going to get a huge amount for these 2 small strips. It seems a bit of a ridiculous thing to do. It does mix up the crops a little bit, doesn't it? I could put corn down the far side as well. Let's have this a proper Neapolitan field, shall we? So, sunflower we've done. Soybean I've got in one field. Let's stick corn in this one. They are going to need corn. Turn it on. Lower it. Very strange selection of crops. But it'll go to feed. The fields where I want to do it for making money, I probably will do the big fields and leave them big fields, and then just stick one massive crop into a field. And there you have it. Finally, field 6 is done. It's been a long, hard slog with a few ups and downs, mostly downs. But anyway, it is done. If we have a quick look on the map, you will see what a truly cosmopolitan field it is. We've got a bit of everything going on in there. Soybean, canola or oilseed rape. We've got sunflowers. We've got corn over here and here. We've got sugar beets down the bottom. So yeah, a real mixed bag on this one. But it should give us a bit of everything we need, really. I do want to look at getting pigs. Sheep. I was looking, actually, scrolling across here. Where are we? Yeah, sheep, where was it? 7,100 for 1,000 litres. So one of those complete bales would work out about 14,500. When I was on this yesterday, that was on 9,000 and something for 1,000 litres. That'd be 18 grand for one pallet of bales. Pallet of wool. So sheep, definitely on my list of things to do. I'm going to take this back. I'm going to keep this at the moment. I know I've leased it. I've got it for 24 hours and I'm playing in real time, so I'll keep it in case I need to do some more seeding elsewhere. But for the moment, at least, that's field 6 sorted. We can stay away from here for a little while now. Go. Okay, what to do next? I do need to do that harvesting on field 11, I think it was. Do want to get some animals. Do need to get another tractor. Might do a bit of contracting work off screen. But you know what I'm going to do? No, I'm going to take this over to field 11 and crack on with the harvest over there. That'll get some more money in the bank anyway. I think it's barley on that field, which I'm pretty sure... I don't think I need any barley. How are we looking for barley? Barley, we've got 9,000. We could stick some barley in. I've got plenty of wheat, actually. Oh, that was from when because I had to redo the field. I had to harvest some of it when I had to reload the game onto a new save game. So let's get over to field 11. I am parking up the trailer in the store, only because there's not a lot of space opposite, in all honesty, with the harvester in the way at the moment. So I'm just going to stop that there. Turn off. What I am going to do, well, I can cross the road safely. I'm going to do a quick run around the field. I'm not going to do a quick run around the field. I'm going to do a quick run around the field in the harvester. That would be weird. To give myself a rectangle so I can set the work on it. I'm going to disable straw swath, and I'm going to start up, turn on, and off we go. I don't need any more straw at the moment. I don't want to do any more bales at the moment either, so there's absolutely no point in me leaving the straw swath on, because I just don't need it. So I was thinking actually about leasing a bigger header, a slightly wider one, which might be an option actually. If I set a work out, it'll get a straighter line. That's why are all these fields? Why is the straight line not straight? The way you would think it would run, it just doesn't make any sense. Why would it go that way? Is it me? Is it simply the north, south, east, west of the map? Let's have a look at the way this field's positioned. Yes, it is. It's because if you go directly across east-west, that's the level there. This field actually goes at an angle. So I was assuming that was kind of the straight line, it would go up, but it doesn't actually. It does go off. So I'll set the worker to get the rectangle, I'll do the bits around the outside, and then I'll set the worker on the rectangle in the middle. That will make more sense. The yield isn't going to be massive off this one, I don't think, because I'm not sure whether it's been cultivated, ploughed, fertilised. I have no idea. We will see. It's been a strange couple of episodes, one thing or another, with all the changes and the hours of gameplay to get back to where I started from, which was a bit odd. But in all honesty, I enjoyed playing the game, so it's not like it was a chore. It was okay, but it's a bit frustrating when you've done it all already and you have to do it all again, but not the end of the world. Right, dismiss the worker there. Don't really want to drive over any of the crops, but I need to get the shape right. If I go from about here, see how we get on. It's not going to go right, is it? Doesn't matter. The price of barley and the price of wheat isn't particularly high. So I say it's not going to be a mega payday, but it's all money in the bank, all money towards all the exciting goodies I'm looking forward to. It's funny because normally I have in my head an idea of what tractors I want to use and what machinery, and I'm really not too sure. I really don't know. I think because you've got the option to change the horsepower on a lot of the vehicles, like I said before, in 15. You had your lower end horsepower tractors, you had the mid-range horsepower tractors and your higher end, and you were kind of limited within those bands. But now, because you can change them anyway, it kind of opens it all up. You can have kind of your pick of the vehicles. Actually, this worked out a lot better than I thought. Oh, maybe I do know what I'm doing. I'll just spray that over the grass, I'm sure it won't be a problem. But I have to say, still loving FS17. It is brilliant. Even with the niggles and the few little odds and ends here and there, and you know, the few issues, and they are a few. Let's be honest, when you consider what you get, those few niggly issues are tiny, tiny, tiny things in comparison to what you actually gain. So it's well worth it. If anyone out there is watching that controls maps, controls what maps get used, Naveswell, that would be wonderful if you wouldn't mind putting that on here. That's what I'm waiting for. So if you feel like converting Naveswell, that'd be great. Oh, that's wrong, it's way off. Let's try it from about here, maybe. I think even that's probably still over too far. Not a problem. Okay, I shall continue. Just don't think this is going to fill up between here and there. Oh, I could have come way further over, couldn't I? Never mind. Anyway, I was saying about headers. Yes. So, the header on this one at the moment is, I believe, that one, the very feed 18 foot. That's the smallest, isn't it? So I don't know whether to go up to... Oh, blimey. They're big jumps up, aren't they? 41 is the next one for New Holland. Don't know. Well, the combine's pretty much full. So, I'm going to unload. That is pretty much it for this episode. I'm going to carry on with this field, either off screen or I might do a little bit more of it on screen in the next episode. And look at animals, probably do a bit more contracting as well. And then obviously this field will then need to be dealt with in some way, shape or form. Putting something in it that's going to make us a bit of money. Maybe soybean the entire one. That would give us a nice bit of money. Anyway, muttering to myself, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share the video, please be my guest. Screenshots and links to my YouTube clips do appear on Facebook regularly under MrSealyp. I say regularly, not as regularly as they were, but they do appear on there regularly. Whatever you should choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.